The Hill covered me?
Of controversial Twitch streamer Hasan Piker.
Wait, where the fuck is Ryan Grimm?
The Times initially headlined its profile, "A Progressive Mind in a MAGA Body," with the subhead reading, "Hasan Piker pumps iron, likes weapons and wears pearls.
Who are these people?
His brand of masculinity has won him many fans online and has been a useful vehicle for his politics."
The Times, however, apparently changed that headline to read, "A progressive mind in a body made for the manosphere." Piker, as some of you may know, has said some contentious things in the past. He once suggested that he didn't, quote, have an issue with Hezbollah. Piker also said the U.S. deserved the 9/11 attack, something the New York Times did note in the piece.
The Times' profile touched on the fact that Piker gets away with things he says and does, like painting his nails or wearing pearls, because he has what one sociologist called jock insurance. In other words, his masculine gender capital gives him leeway to do and say outside-the-box things. The Times also conceded that part of why he's popular is due to the fact that he's, quote, a very handsome man.
Lucky him. Reactions abounded on X. Journalist Mary Catherine Ham wrote this: "I kinda love that gushing media coverage of Hasan has to apologize for the fact that he's good looking and fit. Like, don't worry, although he looks like he's seen the inside of a gym. Bad, that's right coded. He's a shill for disastrous socialism and murderous terrorists, which is good."
Meanwhile, journalist Mehdi Hassan wrote on Blue Sky, "I'm glad the New York Times profiled Hasan Piker, but calling his use of the word genocide to describe Gaza extreme is insane. Some of Israel's top Holocaust scholars are calling it a genocide, as are Amnesty and Human Rights Watch. Absurd from the NYT."
So, this profile, I think, was interesting and flawed in a variety of ways. It was very glowing toward Hasan Piker. The author seems to have a crush on this guy. It described, yes, he's a good-looking man who works out. Congrats to him. It was that point over and over and over again. Like,
bro. Yo. Take it out of your mouth, dude. Why are you dick eating? Take it out of your mouth before you deliver the next speech. That is crazy. It comes across like you're just petty and jealous. What's happening? It's in the fucking style section, man. Yeah, that's why. It's about style.
that's shocking. Also, it's kind of weird, the initial framing that, like...
A MAGA body, that part?
Right, liberals are trying to manifest the idea that only conservative people work out. I'm not even sure that on average, if you went through the entire country, that conservative people are going to be in better shape than liberal.
Okay, I do agree with this. Liberals probably by and large are healthier than conservatives are. That was a major L for the New York Times. They did the classic thing where they come up with a title that makes everybody pissed off. Like everyone from every part of the political spectrum. Shut up. I stopped consuming seed oils 2 years ago. Liberals could never.
People, that might, it probably breaks down by income level and a bunch of other things.
And urban, rural, and all that.
There is something true, however, to the fact now that, I mean, I've seen plenty of articles in like ridiculous liberal publications being like, do you like working
there are no
out?
Ridiculous liberal publications, Robbie.
Like,
what's that?
I was thinking like Jezebel type place. I don't even know if Jezebel's still in operation, something like that. Like, working out is right-wing coded, and are you secretly a fascist if you work out? There has been a lot of that discourse in progressive circles now, so I see where they got this idea, but it's not true that working out is somehow right-wing coded. Look, I don't actually pay very much attention to Hasan Piker. He is a big deal on Twitch. He's very, very left-leaning, like extremely socialist, extremely anti-Israel. I didn't know, one thing I learned from reading this piece, which I didn't know, but maybe everyone knows, is that he admits to being a Nepo baby. He got his start. I assumed he just like emerged naturally on playing video games on Twitch, the way a lot of people does. But no, Cenk Uyghur's his uncle.
Right, and gave him a job with the Young Turks. Yeah.
Which, you know, that's fine. I like Cenk Uyghur. There's nothing wrong with that. He just didn't emerge totally out of nowhere. Everybody turns out is connected to somebody else. What did you make of the piece?
So I found it an interesting piece. I found it kind of curious because I, like you, I'm aware of that he exists, right? But you know, obviously I'm not on Twitch on a regular basis listening to his 8 hours of gaming and commentary while he's on there. To me, in terms of the politics of what he said, which seems to be exercising the right a lot, you know, some of the things that he is being lambasted for seem to me to be sort of clumsy wordings of legitimate arguments. So, for example, on the Gaza thing, he's talking about the fact that he believes essentially that the Israeli response to October 7th has been so brutal that it can't be justified regardless of exactly what happened on October 7th. He regards it as
yeah, except no, it's not. No, he's trying to say exactly what happened on October 7th isn't like he's taking a position where he understands where I'm coming from, but he's taking a couple extra leaps here.
Disproportionate, whether or not.
No, that's not what I said. I didn't say it's disproportionate to October 7th. I said it's a genocide, and genocide is never appropriate, no matter what. He's whitewashing my words in a way that is, you know, more appropriate for their audience. Yeah, I take serious stances or talk about serious issues, but in a clumsy way. That's true. I wouldn't even say that's wrong. I think that is true. But what he's doing here, I think, is liberalizing my assessment.
There were Israeli people raped on October 7th or not. That is not something I would say. I don't think it is wise or sensitive to get into that whole debate about, you know, well, if people were or weren't raped, that changes or doesn't change the equation.
Why? 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 What do you mean? I like that he also somewhat agrees with what I'm saying. He's like, well, you know, I wouldn't call it a genocide. I think Israel's retaliation has been disproportionate. But, you know, as far as disproportionate retaliations goes, like, I wouldn't even ask whether or not rapes happening or not happening factors into the disproportionate retaliation. Yeah, my argument is literally, you're being so insensitive. Yeah, I guess I am, because I have a firmly held commitment to an anti-genocide position. Where, of course, my argument is rapes happening on October 7th does not justify genocide. That's that simple. And on top of that, due to the fact that the Israeli first responders absolutely fucking botched all of the readily available forensic evidence before doing any sort of fucking forensic examination, we don't even have any fucking evidence beyond the suspicions that it took place. There's even the UN report shows that reality, with the exception of one firsthand account from a hostage that wasn't on October 7th, and it's still unjustifiable. But guess what? It still doesn't fucking it still doesn't legitimize genocide. Just as there is a 49-page report from the United Nations that literally spells out Israel's systematic use of rape and sexual assaults as a weapon to wield against the Palestinian population. Its attacks on facilities that are trying to. It's attacks on fucking hospitals. It's attacks on facilities that try to provide birth in the midst of a genocide. and also the systematic rape that they do in their prison structure to Palestinian captives does not justify doing a genocide to Israel. It's not that complicated. The only reason why you would have an issue with this argument is because you think Palestinians are not human. It's that simple. Israel did a fucking pro-rape January 6th. And I don't think that that would justify fucking nuking Tel Aviv. I don't think so. I don't believe that. Because I want people to live. I want people to become better versions of themselves. I want people to recognize their faults and rehabilitate.
But I see his central point is that the Israelis have gone in, killed people in the tens of thousands, and nothing can justify that. That seems to me to be his argument. September 11th, again, I would not say what he said. I'm not sure that it means that he should be, I don't know, exiled from Twitch or anywhere else.
I certainly don't want him exiled from Twitch. I'm against censorship. He should be able to say whatever provocative things he wants. I do not think, every criticism of what Israel does is necessarily anti-Semitic. And I'm always okay, what exactly did they say?
Right.
Never take their word for it on when that's being alleged. Now, all of that said, the things he's actually said over the years seem pretty incendiary to me. Again, I'm not clutching my pearls. Unlike him, I don't wear any, so I have none to
pearls
clutch.
to clutch.
But he just says some awful stuff.
Well, I think he's curious how Hezbollah
He says really violent stuff. He said I don't agree with Dan Crenshaw's views generally, but that he deserved to lose his eye and.
Awesome. No, I didn't miss it. I saw he made a joke. Bro, I love that he's like, listen, I'm not pearl clutching. I'm a libertarian. I'm a free speech libertarian. I promise. But also, here's me fucking pearl clutching. Bro's playing your greatest hits? Yeah.
I mean, I
deserve 9/11, and everyone who disagrees with him deserves to come to some violent end. And I think
that's not true. I've never said that. That is not true. You are trying to turn this into me being anti-free speech in the process of making an anti-free speech argument. He literally said that so that he could signal to his audience that his distaste with what I'm saying is not on the boundaries of him being a pearl clutcher, but because I actually am constantly saying that, all the people that disagree with me should die, saying that I'm like a fucking SJW or whatever. That's a trick. I caught you doing that shit. No, the real reason why he has a distaste for what I have to say is because he doesn't fucking agree with what I have to say. But because he's supposed to present himself as a free speech libertarian, he can't turn around and attack the position and demand censorship to take place. Yeah, why you gotta make shit up? Why you gotta make shit up?
if again.
Look at this bullshit chat. All right, we already read it. It was awesome. They called me handsome. Also, can I ask you guys a question? Where do you guys come from? Like 43 month subscribers, 42 month subscribers. I already read the article. But why is it that you guys all in fucking unison come in here, long-term community subscribers, and you're like, please, you have to read this? Why? Where are you all coming from? Why do you guys constantly feel the need to send me articles like this? This one is unique because I did actually read it and it was awesome and I think it's very funny. But do I need to know every time someone says something mean about me? 43 month subscribers? Huh? 42 month subscriber, 42 month subscriber? What happened? You got lunch break at the job site and said, time to fucking, I'm sorry, just came up on my feed. I wasn't watching earlier. Sorry. No, don't. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'm just asking what the immediate motivator is here, where so many of you will immediately go, "Oh, dude, someone said fuck Hasan. It's time for him to see it," you know? And I just never understand what leads people to do that. Like, why? Lower your tone. They think you're yelling at that. I'm not yelling at you guys. I love you guys. Don't be such little drama farmers, you know? Don't do it. It's not good. It's not healthy. That's all I'm saying. Feel me? You're making the chatter feel bad? Okay, don't feel bad. Ugh. 40 months here. We're in a secret Discord run by the World Economic Forum. 40 plus, you get invited. Yeah. If you're a 40 plus month subscriber, you get invited. Eric Adams is running on the End Anti-Semitism ballot line. Turco-Israeli values need to be a term that comes out of this. Oh my God. America is not a Judeo-Christian nation. America is a Judeo-Turkic nation. Okay, if Eric Adams does say that, by the way, I will vote for him. I'm sorry. I will illegally vote for him. I apologize to Zoran, but there is 0% chance that he can win my vote over that. Eric Adams, the Turkish man, the most Turkish man to ever exist, is running on a platform of restoring the truth about this nation. That it is not one born out of Christian values, and not even one born out of Judeo-Christian values. It is a nation born out of Judeo-Turkic values, as a matter of fact. And that's what I'm fighting for. If he says that, I'm voting for him. End non-exist problem. More news at never. What? America was born out of Judeo-Turkic values. One, I think they want to see your reaction. Two, they want to hear your take and confirm the lies / defend yourself. Yeah. I know. Sure you want to claim this one? Judeo-Turkic values? Yeah. I am claiming it. I like that when I say stuff like that, people who hate me will unironically be like, wow, this is so unacceptable. I can't believe he said that. He's so disrespectful. It's like, yeah, dude, I'm fucking joking. like listening to the Houthis music video did not actually create jihad, the feeling of jihad in my heart. Like, that's a joke, okay? God damn. Everybody loves to fucking claim that they're not pearl clutchers and then immediately clutch all the pearls.
Yeah, if right-wing people, and there are right-wing people who similarly do use insane, contrarian ways of speaking, would not be not just lionized, but lusted over in the pages of the news.
That's literally untrue. They did a profile of Curtis Yarvin. Curtis Yarvin is not only gross looking, but also on top of that, Curtis Yarvin got an interview, a whole ass interview, and he is directly in the orbit of J.D. Vance, the current fucking vice president, and is the theorist, perhaps most responsible for all of these like Peter Thiel style fucking billionaire psychopaths. The notion that the New York Times would not actually go after and lust after or write positive articles about like incredibly right-wing individuals is so stupid and so wrong. Like his worldview adjusted to why do you say don't send me these articles as you spend time about watching a YouTube video about you? Oh, dude, I already fucking read the article, man. Why do you want to argue with me? Are you that bored? Are you bored? Is that what it is? Are you fucking bored? I said we already read the article, okay? But the principle behind like why someone immediately is like, oh, someone says something mean about you, you have to read it. That's what I was calling into question. That's it. But the reason why the reason why you fucking wrote that is because you want to fight, okay? You want to fight. That's what it is. It's so sad to see this community get destroyed by toxic reactionary drama slobs. So many of you care more about attacking people over covering ideas. Is so tiring. Yes.
New York Times, and so that there's something a little bit selective about what is a disqualifying way of making a provocative point.
Right, and that thing about Dan Crenshaw, I wouldn't defend that in any way.
Yeah. We got it, dude. You're not pearl clutching, except you took the long way to just be like, they shouldn't write a glowing article about him because he said mean things. That's what it is. But he can't say it out. He can't say it out loud like that because his audience is so fucking trained. His audience is so trained to immediately strike that down as like libtard anti-speech shit that he has to pearl clutch while engaging in this extra step that makes it seem like he's not pearl clutching when he very clearly is, and complain about the article. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just like a fucking puff piece. Who cares, dude? I don't know why this like fucking breaks your brain so goddamn hard, you know?
Fairly characterized. It happens to everybody. It happens to us. And right, we always want to go and check, well, what exactly did he say? I never want to rely on someone else's characterization because a lot of those, sometimes they're unfair. Right. Even for people I still do think are like not good. Like Candace Owens, for example, said a lot of things I think are insane over the years. But people say, oh, she's, this thing she said was crazy. And they'll look and go, well, that's not, that is being not fairly characterized. It happens to everybody. It happens to us, I'm sure.
No, and yeah, absolutely. And one of the conversations that I did see being seized upon was Hasan Piker talking about Hezbollah. And as far as I could tell from what I read, his argument was that it's a legitimate resistance movement that has some political support in Lebanon, which the latter part of that is a objective fact, and that was he was. I'm not even sure if it's fair to say defending them, contextualizing them in that way. Now, if he said something that was more endorsing of direct acts of violence, then obviously I wouldn't defend that. But it is, I think one of the reasons that I'm approaching this slightly gingerly is that one of the people who has been most vocal in their opposition to him has been Congressman Richie Torres. A Democratic congressman who has been at the absolute forefront, I would argue, of delegitimizing or seeking to delegitimize criticism of Israel that is legitimate by painting it as inherently anti-Semitic or whatever, pro-terrorism. And so, to your point about not taking people's word for it.
But he did say...
Wait, did he know my ball? Is he a ball knower, chat? Did he actually get my Hezbollah take correct?
Over the years. But people say, oh, she happens to us, I'm sure.
No, and yeah, absolutely. And one of the conversations that I did see being seized upon was Hasan Piker talking about Hezbollah. And as far as I could tell from what I read, his argument was that it's a legitimate resistance movement that has some political support in Lebanon, which the latter part of that is a objective fact, and that was he was. I'm not even sure if it's fair to say defending them, contextualizing them in that way. Now, if he said something that was more endorsing of direct acts of violence, then obviously I would.
Ooh, my man Cook, goddamn. Okay. I mean, he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong. Okay.
Defend that. But it is, I think one of the reasons that I'm approaching this slightly gingerly is that one of the people who has been most vocal in their opposition to him has been Congressman Richie Torres. A Democratic congressman who has been at the absolute forefront, I would argue, of delegitimizing or seeking to delegitimize criticism of Israel. That.
Ooh, goddamn. Yo, this guy's fucking, okay. Okay. My goat. I don't know who this guy is, but thank you.
Is legitimate by painting it as inherently anti-Semitic or whatever, pro-terrorism. And so, to your point about not taking people's
but
word
he
for
did
it,
say,
I'm highly reluctant to take Richie Torres's word for it.
He did say it doesn't matter if effing rapes happened on October 7th. That's a pretty awful way to put it, I think.
It is a pretty awful way to put it. I mean,
you're just so...
Oh, it's so gross. It's so gross. Oh, so, so you understand my point, but you still got to fucking glaze Israel. The dude across from you understands what I was saying, doesn't fully agree with everything that I'm saying, and still says, he is responding to this situation in a careless way. I wouldn't make that argument, but I understand where he's coming from. He is deliberately trying to obfuscate what my statement was. I hate when people do that, by the way. Oh my God. I really need to get better. I really need to be less autistic. Okay? I really, really, really need to be significantly less autistic when it comes to just like being purposely clip chimped. Like I have to dial it down because my 127 goes into like 167. Whenever someone fucking takes me out of context, I lose my mind, dude. And it happens so much. It happens so much. And I just got to get used to it and be more gracious. I really need to dial it down. You're the usual rich dude that acts communist, don't act humble and like you care about others. What rich dude do you know that acts communist, brother? Like, what rich dude do you know that's funding unions, working with labor organizers, actively fucking working against the interests of capital? What are you talking about? I'm not trying to act humble. If that's your assessment, first of all, I've never acted humble. But if that's what your assessment is, that means you perceive me as being humble. I've never even entertained the notion of being humble. I'm not.
So wrapped up on your ideological commitment that, what Israel is doing is wrong, that you have to say, well, don't pay attention to that or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, look, those words are awful. They are part of a larger discussion, but I don't think you should say those words. His argument is the Israeli response was so brutal that it would not be justified.
Like, see, he's putting it in terms that I'm not. Okay? He is taking a much lighter critical approach against Israel than I have. I'm saying Israel's doing a genocide because I think that is precisely what's happening. And there's genocidal intent, there's genocidal action, it's very obvious. And I'm saying that is completely unacceptable.
Even if there were rapes.
Baldy is Niall Stanage, by the way. I don't know who that is.
On this show because they're so expletive filled, which is what you can do on Twitch, but not on our show.
Yeah.
Interesting though.
I'm glad that he at least gave the appropriate context to the statement. And all this guy can do when he hears the appropriate context of the statement is to go, oh, well, it's just so filled. It's so filled with expletives. Niall Stanage, White House columnist for The Hill, political analyst for News Nation. Irish Bannister Blinn, counselor of the Palestinian state at the International Court of Justice. Oh, okay, so he is like, I assume he is pro-Palestine. Francois Pinault is an anarcho-syndicalist.
He does have a massive following. He's part of the alternative media ecosystem, and gets a lot more attention for himself. And probably that's what the New York Times was trying to look at. How can, again, it's another Joe Rogan of the left kind of situation. How can we have an appealing? I
like that he. I respect that he said, "I am not trying to clutch pearls, but that's all I've done so far." First, you say apologize for October 7th. Then you write a hit piece on a guy for being an apologist for October 7th. I love and support you and the mission you are spreading Israel awareness 100,000%, but this makes zero sense. Bro, I love you, but you do realize the language you use turns normies off. I know. I had an article today where a journalist straight up asked me, Like, and was too afraid to read it. Okay. Was too afraid to read my statement about Itamar Ben-Gvir, where I called him a porky little Nazi piglet. And the journalist was actually afraid of reading it out loud.